you're eating enough protein. Like, you really are. Like, there's such a small chance that you are not, that you most likely are. So, I was an avid fitness content consumer. You know, I would watch all the videos, my subscriptions from, like, I used to watch Greg Doucette. I still watch sometimes Jeff Nippard, Jeffrey Verity Schofield, Natural Hypertrophy, a lot more, I would say. I would say basically all my YouTube subscriptions are of fitness. And I noticed over the years that there'd always be these videos that are like, or like, people ask questions about how much protein I should eat. And the thing is, we ask these questions because we aren't sure in ourselves. I'm sure I've wondered the same, at least in my opinion. We want to feel like we're doing the absolute most that we can, I think. At least when I was wondering if I'm eating enough protein, I was sort of wondering what I could do to get even more results. What I could do to speeding things up. And there is no speed up, except for steroids, and PEDs, and SARMs, and growth hormone, and Tren, and Anavar, and everything else. I think we were just looking for a way to speed things up. And some videos were titled, "You aren't eating enough protein." And well, you can tell that this video is named after the opposite of such. You know, Jeff would come in with his scientific studies and give us evidence of 0.6 to 0.8 grams per pound of body weight was enough for the most optimal muscle growth. And then maybe you would push it to 1 gram if you're really cutting. Others would say pretty much around the same. But there were some that said you were eating enough protein, or similar phrase. And you most likely are. Like, if you're watching fitness content, you already know about eating protein to gain muscle. You are eating protein. You are eating enough protein because you're already conscious of how much protein you should be eating to gain the most optimal amount of muscle. There are a couple of reasons why you're eating enough protein. Number 1, your body has the protein sparing effect. What this means is, in essence, your body will conserve the protein and instead use carbohydrates and fat for energy instead. So they'll basically save the protein for muscle growth and repairment of like other tissues, and then use carbs and fats as energy. It's why you can get away with eating less protein on a bulk, because your body will have a protein sparing effect. And on the flip side, when you are cutting, your body is starved of energy, and therefore it will look for anything and everything. And that's why you'll hear people tell you to eat more protein while you're on a cut, because more of that protein will be used and burned as energy. And therefore you have less protein overall. So you can eat more protein to get the elevated so that you can get the most out. You can retain or get muscle out of your cut. Number 2 is, or first of all, before I get into number 2, how big are you? How much do you weigh? You most likely weigh between 120 and 170, or in pounds. The thing is, you don't need that much protein, even if you're at like 170. Like, for this entire spectrum, 100 grams of protein is enough. 100 grams is basically between 0.6 and 0.8. It's like, I don't know, 0.55 for like, if you're 170 pounds. But it's definitely enough if you're 120 pounds. And 100 grams of protein is really not that much. 3 chicken breasts? Like, yeah, like 4 chicken breasts? Maybe 5? Let's just say each chicken breast has 20 grams of protein. 5 chicken breasts. It's a lot of chicken. But that's plenty of protein in a day. And it's even less of a challenge if you eat or drink protein powder. Yes, I just did say you eat protein powder. But no. You make things with your protein powder, and then you eat those as like substitutes. I used to do this. I used to make protein. What did I make? Cookies, donuts, cookies, donuts, cakes, brownies. Quite a bit. But usually baked goods. And if you do that, it's like protein is not a big issue at all. With protein powder comes a rant because you don't need protein powder. You really do not need protein powder. It's a waste of money because you are eating enough protein. Like, more than likely you are eating enough protein. And the thing is, if you eat more protein, it's not going to do anything. Unless you are vegan and allergic to all beans. Then, okay, I get it. Get your protein powder. But, like, even if you're a vegan, you still have options to get enough protein in. And if you're a meat eater, you have even more options to get enough protein in. Like, you're in such a niche group to not be eating enough protein if you're in the fitness industry. If you're in that group, you could not be eating enough protein. Otherwise, you are not. No, just no. So reevaluate, what does protein powder really do for you? Besides getting enough protein in, which I hope you've gotten to the point, you are eating enough protein. Besides that, what drives you to buy it? At least for me, I used it to make things that were delicious, so I did use it. Now I don't. At least now I'm not seeing the point in buying it, besides using up all the other ingredients for recipes, which I have a lot of. Otherwise, there's no point. I eat enough protein. I don't need it. Save money. Protein powder is pushed by the industry. In sales, there is a tactic to make you believe that you are lacking something, and therefore you should buy this to fulfill that lack, Oh, you're missing a girlfriend. You know what you can have? Have her insurance. That doesn't really fit. Oh, you don't have enough muscles? You're not eating enough protein. Buy your protein powder. But it's not true because you are eating enough protein. Another reason why you may think you're not eating enough protein is you're not gaining enough weight. You're bulking, but you're not gaining enough weight. What's going on? Am I not eating enough protein? You probably are. You're just not eating enough. Or you aren't sleeping enough. Or you aren't training enough. Or training hard enough. Muscle needs 5 physiological things. Energy, in the form of calories. Water. Right, because you just need water to survive. And also to build things. Protein. You got protein. Sleep. And a training stimulus. That's 5 things. And protein is just one of them. You cannot be getting enough sleep, or you cannot be training hard enough. Those are 2 more factors, in addition to protein. So you have 3 factors that could be out of whack, and 4 if you're not in a calorie surplus. If you don't have enough energy to build and gain weight, build muscle and gain weight. So it's most likely not protein. You're most likely not sleeping enough, eating enough, or training hard enough. Of which, if you're supposedly on a bulk, you're not gaining weight, you're more than likely not eating enough. Even if you're not sleeping, even if you're not sleeping and training hard enough. Because in a calorie surplus, your body will store fat, and you'll gain weight. Simple as that. Protein is the most overhyped physiological need for growing muscle. Sleep is the most underhyped. And you absolutely need sleep to grow muscle, because sleep is when your muscles will repair themselves. Protein? Yeah, you need protein. Protein is the building blocks, but you don't need that much. You aren't gaining a pound of muscle every night. You're not gaining half a pound of muscle every night. You're not even gaining a quarter of a pound of muscle every night. You're not even gaining 0.1 pounds of muscle every night. You don't need that much protein. And therefore, you're more than likely eating enough protein. Anyway, to summarize, if this has not gotten into your head enough, or not yet, you are eating enough protein. And if you aren't growing or gaining weight, you're most likely not in a calorie surplus. Protein is the first factor that people check for, or people will add to. People won't add to sleep, really. People may look at their training. People may look at how many calories they're eating. But still, I'd say sleep is the most underrated yet fundamental factor to gaining muscle. Sleep triumphs overall. There's a reason why you sleep for a third of your life. Yeah, it's not to waste time. Just get the big muscles.